Renaissance and glazing. So last week we did kind of our double project. We did our Renaissance piece where we kind of invented something, worked on some inventions with Leonardo da Vinci, and then we also worked on glazing our pieces. So with that, your pieces are glazed. They are out of the kiln. They are safe in Miss Hannah's office. We should be able to get them next week. I will send her an email so that she remembers and she can bring them in, because I have a few other pieces as well for my other class. But she said that they turned out really awesome. So I'm excited to see them. I still haven't seen them yet, so I am very excited to see how they went. But this is now the Impressionist period. So with the Renaissance period last week, the Renaissance period spanned a pretty large amount of time. So the periods that we've been learning about since the beginning, like the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Greeks, those time periods spanned sometimes about 3,000 years. The Renaissance period spanned about 300 years compared to the Impressionist period, which only spanned less than 20 years. So it's a very interesting time period because during the Impressionist period, during the late 1800s, people had very strict ways of doing art. So they had very strict standards that they held people to. So if you drew a body, it needed to be drawn correctly. If you were going to draw a still life or a landscape, they had very specific rules that they liked people to focus on. Now the Impressionist period was very much characterized by going against these normal rules that people had for art. And it was specifically based in Paris, France, is where it all started. Now we are going to be focusing on one specific artist today, because there were a ton of other artists that were around during the Impressionist period who were also a part of this movement that they brought about. And I have some of them listed over here. We have Mary Cassatt, we have Pissarro, Cézanne, Matisse, Manet. Do you guys know any of those names? They're kind of lesser known than Monet, but if you ever see any of these art pieces from any of these artists, they're probably from the Impressionist period. So Monet was around. He was born in 1840 and he died in 1926.
That's a long life.
Yeah, he had a pretty long life, especially during the 1800s,
Wait,
1900s.
How old was he when he died?
Yeah, 86, I believe. So he lived pretty long. He also lived very comfortably. So I don't have any pictures of it up on the board, but he had a house in a place called Giverny, which was in France, and it was stunning. You can actually still visit his house if you guys ever go to France or you ever want to.
I've been to Paris before, at the Eiffel Tower.
I love Paris. But if you ever want to see his house, it is still standing in France, and it is now a museum. And he has the most wonderful gardens I have ever seen. They are beautiful. So a lot of the inspiration that he took and put into his art was going to be, hi Summer! Welcome! I'm glad you made it.
I'm sorry, late.
Oh, that's okay. It happens. But we are talking about a period today called Impressionism. And we're talking specifically about an artist named Claude Monet. Hello! So, Monet took a lot of inspiration from the bright colors of his garden, of landscapes, and a lot about lighting. So all of these artists from the Impressionist period, you will notice with any of their art, they focused on bright colors, they focused on changing light a lot, and they focused on loose details. So with all of that, looking at his pieces, just first impression, is there anything that you guys notice, that you like, that you find odd? Yes?
Me?
Yeah.
I feel like it's nice. I know back in the what's it called?
Renaissance?
Renaissance, the people had like glares. You could sort of see that.
Mm-hmm.
But at least